Hello and welcome to TV9 Digital. I'm Abhijit Singh Bhamra. India has registered a 3-2 win over New Zealand. The first victory is out of the way, but then comes the Super Sunday in which the men in blue will face the Australians in their second game of Pool A in the ongoing Tokyo Olympics. And to discuss more on this, I have with me Romeo James, the 1984 Los Angeles Indian member, and also a regular guest in our studios. And we also have Mr. Sundeep Misra, the sports editor for TV9 Digital. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Romeo, first hurdle is out of the way, but we face Australia next, the world #1 side. How do you see this contest?
In my opinion, it will be a good game, and it will be a good game. So basically, how we defend it today, if we defend tomorrow, and a little bit of attack from us and from our midfield, will do the wonders. If we, and then we have to see, we have to soak in their attack, which is the best in the world. So how we soak their attack and how we counter that.
So what changes in strategy do you see in the game which we played on Saturday against New Zealand to the one which we'll face?
I think you just probably might see a slightly packed midfield.
Okay.
Because remember one thing, Australia constantly plays on pace. They are the ones who will attack from the flanks, they will cut through the middle, they will find spaces even outside of the striking circle to probably get penalty corners because they have a very solid and sound battery. And for them, PCs are not something that, that you create a penalty corner converter. For them, anybody probably can walk up and take a PC. But if you just go back in the past, 2018, we played the Champions Trophy, the last of the Champions Trophies. We played a fantastic game. I mean, of course, the side was slightly different. Coach was also different. But we went to the final and a player like Vivek Prasad, he had them by the jugular, he's such a tiny guy. But he was playing all over the midfield and he was holding Australia off. So if you really look at the Olympic, everybody wants points. Yeah. Nobody wants a draw and nobody wants a loss because 1 point is crucial sometimes. So I think they would play safe, but they will go in terms of counter-attack. So you're going to see one Indian team counter-attacking efficiently, Australia counter-attacking slightly more efficiently, so our defense will come into play.
Right. Romeo, Sundeep also highlighted on the coach part, we have Graham Reid in our side, the Australian. So will his presence also help us in a bit in order to overcome Australian challenge?
It definitely will, because he's been the coach with the Australian side and he knows Colin Batch. They have been, together for long, and I think with his,
presence
game as a coach in the game, it will help. It will definitely help. And what he tells in 4 minute time, now it is 4 minute now. Now it is 4 minute after every quarter. Earlier it used to be 2 minutes.
Right.
So 4 minute, what he tells in the quarter and half this thing, it will help us.
Will this be a litmus test for Reid?
Yes and no. We've been talking about strategy and tactics and all of that, but I think what we haven't spoken about is the temperature. It's going to be touching 34, 35. Even today was very hot and humid. It's not going to affect both, but the substitutions are going to be fast. The rolling substitutions are going to be fast. A guy scores, he's off. Doesn't score, he's off, because you really need to rest completely. So I think that's where Reid's thing is going to come into play. How he reads Australia in terms of counter-attacks, how he substitutes with their substitution coming in. Because remember, hockey on the outside, and sometimes for fans, everybody, it's just another sport where you score goals.
Yeah.
But you look at it from a very higher angle, it's chess. Who plays what, which defender has come in, which forward you're going to place for that. Sometimes a player like Mandeep would probably play better against a particular defender in that particular side. So that's how the coaches will work. I think that's where in tomorrow's game, I think it's India-Australia first, and second, it's Colin Batch versus Graham Reid. So who wins? I think let's see.
And the Australians are good at targeting one or two players.
Exactly.
So how Graham Reid reads that and
true.
Changes his strategy.
And also, is there something, Romeo, is there something for India to learn from the Australia and Japan game? Japan also gave Australia a run for their money.
The Japanese will always,
What can India pick from the game from today? And obviously, Australia too will also be reading the New Zealand-India game.
The fact that Japanese were leading 3-2
Right.
Speaks volume of them.
Yeah.
And what little I have seen
Yeah.
for Japan, they play at very fast pace, and that's why they could. I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
They outmaneuvered the Australians first half or whatever. So, but it will be a different ball altogether,
Ball
because
game.
Japan was same. They rely on pace. We rely on skill and counter.
Who are the players to watch out for from the Indian camp?
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a team. It's a team.
It's a team.
But like Romeo said that Australia is very good in pointing or marking out players. So which players from the Indian contingent will Australia be wary of first, and also the difference makers?
There are players who are fast.
Okay.
There are players who are not slow, but they have
Can't match
slightly
the pace.
a couple of seconds turnaround. In terms
Yeah.
of slowness. I think Australia. I think Reid would be very careful as to how he plays Rupinder Pal.
Exactly.
Very, very careful. And this is where the Colin Batch's thing will come in, because if Rupi is in the side at that point of time, you will see more attacks happening from his side. Moment Rupinder Pal goes away, then Australia will try and hold the ball, try and create space, try and create those pieces. But with Rupinder out there, and believe me, I mean, this is no way telling Rupinder is a bad player. There are a lot of guys out there whose fallback may be slow, but they are very tremendous in terms of body-to-body tackle. They're tremendous in terms of penalty corners. They're tremendous in strokes. You saw him converting a stroke. He's probably the best stroke guy in world hockey at the moment. But he has a fallback issue sometimes because he's tall. So, getting back takes a little bit of time. In hockey, 1 second is good enough for you to take a ball and create a cross. I think that's where Batch will target. And opposite way, I think that's where Graham will target. And you just might see the Indian forward line playing slightly up. Mandeep and the rest of the gang would be playing up, because unless you put pressure on Australia, they would relax. For them, it will be like a beach party at the back if nobody's coming and putting pressure on us. So I think that's what is going to happen.
Romeo?
Yeah, exactly. What Sundeep said, they'll have to put pressure, full press, at least on the Aussies on top, and keep their defense tight. So that our forward line will have to do a lot of running. On Sunday.
What's the predictor scoreline? Tough one?
Tough one.
But still, you got to give us one.
I think 2-2.
2-2, he's playing it safe. What about you, Sundeep?
No, I was going back to the scoreline of 2000, where he's probably picked it from. In 2000, Australia was heavily tipped to beat us.
Yeah.
India played probably the best hockey, and a lot of people even today agree that the India-Australia game in Sydney was the best match of the tournament. It was a 2-2.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a draw. I think
There will be a winners.
I think you were watching it live. You were watching it live.
Yeah. So it's going to be either 3-1 either way.
Okay.
But it will be difficult to have a draw, because nobody's playing for a draw here. Let's get that fact out of the way, because this is not a normal tournament.
Yeah, not an exhibition tournament. It's the Olympics.
So you need to be going all out, and I think it's the scoring chances. You saw what happened today.
Yeah.
If the same thing is going to happen, both teams are going to take their scoring chances, and whoever scores. But I do believe India, some way, after looking at the game today, if they can polish up their fourth quarter thing, they have an edge. They surely have an edge.
Sundeep, Romeo, thanks a lot for your thoughts and inputs, and we're looking forward to your inputs in the coming games as well. So it's clearly going to be a super Sunday, India versus Australia, and all you fans out there cannot wait for this biggest battle that could very well decide which way the momentum is shifting. India has already drawn first blood, and they will be looking to make it 2-0 moving into the rest of the tournament. But can they end a 41-year-long drought? Well, that remains to be seen. But at the moment, the only thing on their mind will be to beat the men in gold. That's all what we have in this special edition for you in Target Tokyo. For news and updates from India and around the world, keep watching TV9 Digital. Thanks a lot for watching.